On paper, if you trace the lineage of all the muscle cars that we so much love and adore back to one car, then that car would surely be the Pontiac GTO brand. The Pontiac GTO is widely revered by many, both fans and critics alike, as the father of the muscle car. This iconic car brand set the stage for the first generation of muscle cars and set the standards by which all future muscle cars are measured. The first generation of the GTO is widely credited with heralding and popularizing the muscle car era in the 1960s. The Pontiac GTO started the muscle car trend, with all the four contemporary big American automakers then following suit and offering a variety of competing models to the GTO. In this interesting video, we are going to focus mainly on the 1973 Pontiac GTO. But as always, the story of such an iconic car can't be completely told and understood without at least hinting at the history of the car's brand as a whole. So, on that note, we will take you back to 1963, when the Pontiac GTO dream was finally turned into reality. The Pontiac GTO is a front-engine, rear-drive, two-door, 4 or 5 passenger car manufactured and marketed by the Pontiac division of General Motors from 1963 until 1974 in the United States. In early 1963, the management of General Motors, Pontiac's parent company, placed a sweeping ban on all of its cars, then currently in use or planned for future production, from participating in car racing for reasons best known to them. With General Motors' ban on factory-made racing cars then in full swing, Pontiac's managers began to solely emphasize street performance as their brand's marketing strategy. The Pontiac's chief marketing manager, Jim Wangers, in his autobiography, Glory Days credits John Delorean, Bill Collins, and Russ Gee as the main masterminds of the GTO's creation. According to Wangers, the development of the GTO involved transforming the then upcoming second-generation Pontiac Tempest from a conventional front-engine car with front transmission configuration into a sporty car. With a larger 389 cubic inch 6.4-liter V8 engine, in place of the standard 326 cubic inch 5.3-liter V8 engine initially planned for the Tempest. By marketing the bigger, more powerful engine option as a special high-performance model, the GTO's creators wanted to appeal to the youth market, who simply wanted everything bigger and more powerful. And with the feared Ford Mustang planned unveiling the following year, the GTO's creators had to move very fast and take some bold steps if they were to stand any chance of appealing to the youth market against the almighty Ford Mustang. Perhaps the boldest step taken by the GTO's creators was the fact that they completely disregarded General Motors' long-standing policy of limiting the A-body intermediate line to a maximum engine displacement of 330 cubic inch 5.4-liter. The team was able to bypass this policy by discovering a loophole in the policy which did not restrict the offering of large engines as an option. The then Pontiac's general manager, Pete Estes, was so impressed with the idea that he quickly approved the new model and initially limited the production limit to a maximum of 5,000 cars. And the Pontiac GTO brand was born. The name GTO was reportedly inspired by the Ferrari 250 GTO brand. The TO moniker is an Italian abbreviation for Gran Turismo Omologato, which designates that the cars have been certified by the FIA for racing in the Grand Tourer category. Having hinted at a little history of the Pontiac GTO brand as a whole, let us now solely focus our attention on the interesting story of the 1973 Pontiac GTO. The 1973 GTO version was produced as an option package for the Lehmans and featured a reskinned body with colonnade hardtop styling, which eliminated the standard hardtop design because of the addition of a somewhat roof pillar, but retained the frameless door window associated with its predecessors. The 1973 GTO also had rear quarter-side windows covered with an optional louvered panel that gave the car a sleek European appearance. The unique windows were also made in a triangular shape that was of a fixed design that could not be opened. Also unique to the GTO's body's design were the rear quarters and trunk lid, which simultaneously dropped off from the upper surface and swooped up from the lower, resulting in a profile not unlike that of the tip of a paintbrush. The 1973 GTO option was offered in two models, the standard Lehman's Coupe and the Lehman's Sport Coupe. The Lehman's Coupe featured a cloth and vinyl or all-vinyl bench seat setting, while the more lavishly interior decorated Lehman's Sport Coupe had all-vinyl interiors with strato bucket seats or a notchback bench seat with a folding armrest. The Lehman's Sport Coupe also had louvered rear side windows in place of the standard triangular windows of the Lehman's coupe. Talking of powertrain, the standard 400 CID V8 engine in the 1973 GTO was further reduced in compression to 8.01, causing it to churn out only 230 horsepower, 170 kilowatt. The 400 CID V8 engine was available with any of the 3 transmissions, including the standard 3-speed manual, the optional 4-speed, and the turbo hydromatic. Pontiac also offered an optional 455 CID V8 engine, which churned out 250 horsepower, 186 kilowatt. The engine sucked wind through low compression heads and had a compression ratio of 8:1 that was starting to look a lot like a vacuum. This option was, however, only available with the turbo hydromatic transmission. The 450 HO engine was not offered for long, but GM later announced the availability of a 1973 Super Duty 450 engine, better known as the SD450, which churned out a respectable 310 horsepower, the best any manufacturer would offer that year. Several such SD455s were reportedly produced for testing, impressing reviewers with their powerful performance. Nevertheless, the Super Duty was never actually offered for public sale. Moreover, only 8 prototypes were built for testing, but were all reportedly subsequently destroyed. The rear axle ratios of the 1973 GTO were lowered numerically to further aid in emissions control, because the creators believed that the lower an engine turns over, the fewer pollutants go out the exhaust. Gone were the chrome rocker arm covers, chrome air cleaner lids, and HO exhaust manifolds that its predecessors boasted of. For the 1973 GTO, Pontiac engineers simply went the cheap route with an all-black air cleaner hooked to an air intake hose that looked suspiciously similar to that on a Maytag clothes dryer, but was nevertheless effective for its intended purpose. The 1973 GTO also boasted of a new hood, accented with NACA National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics ducts, which looked like 2 footprints stamped out of the center. These ducts were designed to force air into a ram induction system. Although that system never really materialized in the standard G2s, it was still available over the counter. Today, most ardent GTO collectors consider this system one of the hardest parts to find. Only 10 sets were ever sold, according to some Pontiac experts. Despite the arguable shortcomings under the hood, the 1973 GTO drove far better than its predecessors. This was due in part to revised suspension geometry that kept the tires vertical and perpendicular to the pavement during cornering. The spindles were also new and taller than any body spindles that preceded them. The 1973 GTO also had thicker anti-roll bars and stiffer springs, which also enhanced the overall performance of the car. The 1973 GTO started at $2,847 for the standard coupe version and $3,082 for the sport coupe version, which is estimated at $19,729 and $21,358 respectively in today's money when adjusted for inflation. We can sing the praises of the 1960s first-generation Pontiac G2s from now until the end of time, but the 1973 GTO is largely neglected, ignored, and almost completely forgotten today. Perhaps because elitist muscle car enthusiasts always look sideways at colonnade cars and relegate them to the dustbin of the long and chaotic American automotive history. Some critics even labeled the colonnade styling design of the 1973 GTO as just too blobby and ungraceful. But it must be said that the 1973 model was the last time a GTO used a true to form full-size body platform design as its foundation. The A-body platform design used in the 1973 GTO was also the foundation for some of General Motors' greatest muscle car creations, including iconic classics like the Chevy Monte Carlo, Pontiac Grand Prix, and Oldsmobile Cutlass, just to name a few. Moreover, the 1973 GTO isn't technically the last classic Pontiac to bear the GTO moniker. That title belongs to the subsequent 1974 model. But honestly speaking, this 1974 model never had the same muscle car soul as its 1973 predecessor. The 1973 Pontiac GTO was simply an iconic muscle car in its unique world of enduring class and elegance. Remember to like and subscribe if you have not already. Thank you for watching.